In this video, I want to talk about whether I think Amazon's new product is a direct competitor of Palantir's AIP, and I want to share with you some issues that it's been seeing since its release. If you want to help support this channel even further, you can do so by becoming a channel member. If you do that, you'll also get access to some exclusive perks. I'll leave a link in the description below. So recently, about a week ago, Amazon announced that they were releasing a new product called Amazon Q. This is a generative AI-powered assistant, a chatbot for enterprises. Think GPT, but instead of users like myself and you, it's for the enterprise, so for businesses. Amazon Q is designed to be a helpful assistant for business users, and it's being referred to as your business expert. It can actually be linked to internal systems, so think databases, internal sources of information, but also external. So the likes of Salesforce, if a particular business uses that. This means that Q can pull in information from all these sources and then use that to provide a response, provide an answer to the user. There are currently 4 main features that Q has. You'll see them on the screen now, and there's a 5th one coming soon. Now, as you're looking at the video that is currently playing, you are probably thinking this looks a lot like ChatGPT, and maybe you're even seeing the similarities between Palantir's AIP. Now, you're right, there are quite a number of similarities between AIP and Amazon's Q. Firstly, they are both built for enterprise. So they are not trying to necessarily target consumers like ChatGPT is, but instead they're both focused on helping businesses. And the second similarity is they are both designed to provide real value. Now, of course, you can argue whether Amazon Q or AIP is more valuable. However, the point is that they both provide valuable insight and valuable resources to the business. And third, they are both being sold with the promise of security and governance of data. Now, that one's really important, so remember that one, and we'll come back to that later on in the video. Okay, so if we know that there are similarities between AIP and Amazon's Q, that means we need to think about whether we believe Amazon's Q will start taking market share of Palantir and actually AIP won't do as well in the future because of this competitor. Well, I don't think that's the case, and we'll discuss that why in a minute, but let's just think about what actually gives Amazon maybe the edge over Palantir. I guess the main thing is just how big Amazon is. They have the distribution means through AWS, which is of course absolutely massive, and they have the name already in place. So they have the name, the distribution method, and the money they're waiting. And of course, they have already built their name up and they've built the credibility. So if you have a company that is looking for how they can utilize AI in their business, they are probably more likely to come across Amazon than they are Palantir. And if Amazon is promoting this, obviously the channels that they can do that in are a lot larger than what Palantir currently have. And with Palantir being quite a newly public company, they don't necessarily have the name in place already and the funds and the distribution methods that Amazon does have. Now, of course, Palantir has a long history of working with government organizations on their government side of the business, but I'm more so talking about their commercial enterprise side. So there is this concern that Amazon could start upselling Q to both existing and new customers and potentially drawing market share away from Palantir. Palantir use AIP as their Trojan horse, if you will. They've got this shiny product that is getting a lot of attention, that is providing real value, and I imagine that is really helping to upsell other core offerings that they have, like Foundry, one of their core platforms. But I'm not yet convinced that Amazon's Q is actually really a direct competitor for AIP. I think Amazon are feeling the pressure and the push towards getting more AI offerings out to the market, making sure that they remain competitive against the likes of Microsoft, who have recently even launched Microsoft Fabric and Microsoft Copilot. I don't think, and I could be wrong, of course, I don't think Q is really trying to compete with Palantir's AIP. Palantir have had the experience of working with the US government. They have worked many times with the most classified and confidential data. So they've got the track record of being the provider to companies, whether it's on the commercial side and enterprise companies or on the government side. They have the track record of being the provider to organizations who require the highest levels of security. And now, of course, they're also extending their work with the NHS, and that will be important there too. They have the capabilities to be flexible in terms of data access. They have the tools in place to restrict certain users from seeing and interacting with certain data points, and that is really, really important. We've got to remember as well that Palantir's AIP value isn't just in the LLMs, in the large language models, but it's also baked into the likes of Foundry, allowing companies to make sense of their vast unstructured amounts of data, and then actually understand that data, add AI in, and give the users the ability to make better, more efficient business critical decisions. That's where the real value is. Using different techniques like retrieval augmented generation and ontology augmented generation as well, utilizing all the information externally and internally to give the business the best possible breakdown of their data and what that means for the business to then allow them to make better decisions. Another key difference here is that Palantir actually uses KLLMs. This approach means using multiple LLMs, and then the answers and the findings that they get synthesized to understand and compare the answers to then give the best, most accurate possible results. And like we were just saying, Palantir's AIP, with features that it has like virtual tables, which we are learning a lot more about in recent days. So if you want a video about those, do let me know. But that focuses on integrating and managing complex data sets efficiently to actually ensure seamless access and analysis of vast volumes of data. And that is the world we live in today. Data is the new language, data is the new gold. Companies, literally any company, has so much data, it's unstructured, they don't know what to do with it, they can't interpret that data. Palantir's AIP, Palantir in general, really help with that. Whereas Amazon Q, on the other hand, seems to be more focused and more centered around its LLM capabilities. Let's now just circle back to something that I said at the beginning of this video. AIP and Amazon's Q are both being sold, being marketed, being branded as being built to be private and secure, taking care of data governance and data privacy. However, shortly after Amazon announced its chatbot Q, concerns about its accuracy and its privacy were being raised by employees. Q reportedly experienced severe hallucinations and started to leak confidential data, including AWS data center locations and internal discount programs. These issues were serious enough to require immediate engineering intervention. So they were marked as SEV2, which I imagine stands for Severity Level 2, and that means that an incident is bad enough to warrant actually paging the engineers at night. We haven't had an official response from Amazon on that as far as I understand, but it's not a good look, especially when you've marketed a product as being built to be private and secure. And actually, when the CEO announced this on his X page, he said, "We've built it to be secure and private, and it can understand and respect your existing identities, roles, and permissions, and use this information to personalize its interactions. If a user doesn't have permission to access certain data without Amazon Q, they can't use it with Amazon Q either." And from day one, we've designed Amazon Q to meet stringent enterprise consumer requirements. None of their content is about to improve the underlying models. So we'll have to see how this one unfolds. But at the moment, from what I can tell, Palantir are way more likely to keep the data secure, keep up with data security, allow different users to have the access that they require, because they've got that experience of working with the most confidential customers. And of course, they've had decades of time building what Palantir have built. I do imagine that Amazon will very much jump onto this and address these issues and make this better, and it will probably become a platform, a product that is really useful and really utilized. So I don't think that Amazon Q is necessarily a direct and legit AIP competitor. It does, however, make more businesses actually understand the need for AI in their companies because, like I said, Amazon's got the distribution means of actually selling this product. So maybe they'll try this and then they'll look for other options available, maybe Palantir. But either way, I think there is room in the market for multiple companies if you do think that this is a direct competitor. And don't forget about Palantir's go-to-market strategy with their AIP bootcamps. They are running immersive sessions whereby users can come get hands-on keyboard experience, actually learn how to develop and deploy AI in their business. And they go from having no idea to walking out of these sessions with practical applications in just a matter of hours or a matter of days. If you've got anything to add to the content of this video, please drop it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another one very shortly.